Because it genuinely has been an insane week. You know? Yeah. No, I know. No, it's that part. I'm not going to talk about it forever, but yeah. Oh, it's what you came for? Okay, good. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't want to hear about my life. No, okay. You know, Trump took office and he immediately signed a wild amount of executive orders. They've been one-upping each other every presidency for a little while. Like, I'm pretty sure Barack Obama signed more than Bush, and then Trump signed more than Obama, and then Biden signed more than Trump. But this was like astronomical. This was a whole lot, because basically Trump went ahead and signed executive orders that rolled back a lot of what Biden did, plus his own. All right. And he did some sweeping stuff. Like, he signed an executive order that began the steps for the U.S. to leave the World Health Organization. I did not do it. But what feels kind of wild to me about the executive orders that Trump is passing, and a lot of the things that we're going to see for the next few months into the rest of his presidency, is basically just a blueprint of everything that Project 2025 said that they were going to do. It's a project that he said he knew nothing about and had nothing to do with, but now that he's in office, they seem hella tight. It's kind of like when you tell the police you don't know somebody, and then the police are like, but here's a picture of you two right here. And the picture hella incriminating, because it's not you just happening to be in the picture with them, it's you being like, hey. You say that you're not boys, but in this picture here, you're holding a different picture of the two of you together. You're like... And sure enough, yeah, Trump signed an executive order that would start the process of the U.S. leaving the World Health Organization. And I feel like there are some things that Trump is doing because they're his idea, and some things that he's doing because his aides and the people that wrote up Project 2025 are pushing him to do it for whatever their own reasons are, right? Like, I feel like they went to Trump and they were like, we need you to pull out of the World Health Organization. Then Trump was like, who? And they were like, yes. And he was like, yes, what? And they were like, who? And he's like, who? And they were like, that's what we're saying. Who's who? And then he was like, I'll do what you want me to do, but I just need to know who it is. And it's like, who is who it is? That's who we want you to do it to. We have to pull out of who? Pull out? Who? Where? Yes, because we believe that who is dangerous. Who is dangerous? Yes, who is dangerous? Where is who? Well, sir, who's all over the world? Who is dangerous all over the world? Yes, that's why we have to pull out of who. I'm not in who, by the way. I'm just standing here. We're just gonna put it on a piece of paper and we need you to sign it. All right. And this is my main thing when it comes to pulling out of the World Health Organization, is that a lot of people take for granted things that are functioning in their life. Things that are either good, you expect to be good, and things that are working, you're just like, yeah, it works because it's supposed to work, right? But sometimes we don't ask enough questions on how a working thing got to the way it was. And there hasn't been enough time in between when it didn't work, and now for us to remember when it didn't work. Because if we lose access to the World Health Organization, it hurts the World Health Organization by a lot, but it also hurts us. Because then we lose access to their labs, to their data. Most of what happens and the way that cures and vaccines come about quickly is because all these countries are able to share information, which all sort of help us leapfrog over the last breakthrough that another country had. And because it's not a race, it's just shared information. It's just a group project. And our pharmaceutical companies, by the way, also need the World Health Organization to just stay on top of things, right? And I'm no fan of pharmaceutical companies. I'm just saying I'm a fan of people who are sick getting help, right? And so my thing is, if you pull out of the World Health Organization, as good as the doctors that we have in the U.S. are, or at least can be, it won't be long before we're all just sort of WebMD. You know, it won't be long before a new thing, take something like COVID, right? No matter what you believe about the origins of COVID, you understand that something started up in China. And then because of the World Health Organization, everyone was able to talk about it, do testing. They were able to share findings. We were able to get to a vaccine pretty quickly, right? So now, let's say something comes out of another country. And we may know it's coming out of the other country from the news, but we don't actually know any breakthroughs because we're not sharing that data. And everyone has to start all over again every time they try to have a breakthrough. So now you'll just be a regular person walking up to other people like, hey, I'm just asking, just in general, just because I'm curious, but is anybody else like farting blue? No, me neither. No. That's crazy. I don't even know why I said that. That's just like crazy, but like it can happen. You know, I've been hearing on the news that it can't happen, and there's people whose whole bathrooms look like a Smurf died. Like it's just stuff can happen. You know, just curious. Yeah. And then maybe someone does get sick, and then that sickness starts to spread, and maybe it's not something that we're used to. It's a completely new thing. So now you have somebody being like, "Hey, is anybody else that was like not born double jointed, been acting double jointed, like just everything can go in every which way?" Because double joint people, they seem to not hurt when they do it, but I'm in a lot of pain. So if anyone has any ideas on what to do, I've been eating as much as I can to lower inflammation, but I'm still got my head spinning all the way around when I fall asleep. No? And then you won't be able to distinguish certain things, because there are things that are not related, that we know through science are like not related, even though they're similar, right? You'll be able to know if you have a new thing or if you have a regular version of an old thing. Just walking up to somebody like, "Hey, look, I'm not trying to get the word out like that. I'm just curious if you've ever heard of this. Do you sleepwalk? Oh, you sleepwalk too? Oh, great. Do you ever sleepwalk and just wake up with a knife every night? Like, does that just me? Okay. We'll have to look into it." This dude also signed an executive order, the one they promised to, delaying the TikTok ban. But while he was talking about it, after he signed it, he was basically saying like, "Oh yeah, you know, the U.S. should own some part of it, maybe 50%, maybe more, who knows." And it's hard to tell when Trump talks about what the government should do, if he means the government should own it or he should own it. Because I'm not gonna lie, this TikTok thing is the most mob boss thing I've ever seen. It's the most like, "Oh, you like your little thing?" Like, okay, maybe I own some of it. Maybe I own the whole thing. How about that? How about you get out of here? All right, it's mine now. One of the pettiest things that Trump did was he used an executive order to take back John Bolton's security detail. Now, I don't like John Bolton. I'm not like crying for John Bolton or anything. And if you know John Bolton, you'll know who I'm talking about. He looked like a Scooby-Doo villain. When John Bolton got the mustache of somebody who is retired from tying women to train tracks. All right. This dude one of my favorite John Bolton memories was one time he was on, I think it had to be Fox News, he was on, and for some reason, they must have been trying to kill time or something, they put John Bolton, now he was old back then, so this is old, but he was still old when this happened. They put this old man on a hoverboard. And it was as great as you could imagine. They literally try and explain to him what to do on the hoverboard while he's on the hoverboard, which is the worst time to tell somebody how to operate a hoverboard. Don't let them get on and then be like, okay, now subtly. And so then this man, not knowing what to do, sort of moves his hips a little bit, and he just starts spinning. And you can go back and watch the clip. This man is screaming, ah, ah! But Trump took back his security detail. And it was just to be petty. It's just because he doesn't like John Bolton, and John Bolton doesn't like him, right? But it's one of the pettiest things I've seen from a government official, because all he's really doing, all Trump is really saying is like, hey, look, now that I'm back, I just want to make sure if you have any ops at all, that they have as little resistance as possible. Him pulling John Bolton's Secret Service detail is like if I uncalled 911 for somebody. Like they called 911 and I called right after, be like, hey, that last dude, he was just playing. Don't come. It's not a big deal. Don't come at all. I know he's like, oh, he has a knife or whatever, but don't come. He was just trolling. Even the executive order he signed renaming the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. This is one thing that has to stop. It has to stop immediately, because we cannot make it this hard on these kids. I remember when I was a kid. I remember when I was a child in school and they told me that Pluto was not a planet, but it was, but it wasn't, but it was, but it wasn't, and it is, but it isn't. And I failed every test where they asked me what Pluto was. I was like, there was one time where it was a fill-in. You had to describe the planet and you had to talk about what gases and everything the planet was made of and why we couldn't live on that planet, why Earth was perfect to live on. And when we got to Pluto, I didn't know what to say anymore, because it had been a planet and then it wasn't a planet and then it had been a planet and it even changed like astrological signs or something like that. And so I was like, you know what? It's up there. How about that? Changing the Gulf. And then you even had publications like The Guardian being like, we're still going to call it the Gulf of Mexico, but we will call it Gulf of America for context in places where it seems fit, where the president is being quoted. I was like, it is or it isn't. No. Then you had Trump signing executive order. You had Trump pardoning everybody from January 6th. That's wild. You ever had somebody go to jail from your neighborhood? Maybe this is just too specific to me, but you ever had somebody go to jail from your neighborhood and you're like, I'm not a snitch, but thank God. Oh. There was this dude named LaDon, right? And I can say his name because he never gonna get out. But there was a dude I knew named LaDon, and I remember when he got locked up, I was like, oh no, don't. Like, you know what I mean? Because you wanna show that solidarity, but the police were taking him. I was like, oh, how dare you, 5-0. I can't stand 12. LaDon, no. Oh, but LaDon was wild. He's like a proper criminal. It's like, you know, because then his boys were wearing like free LaDon shirts, and I was just like, Anytime I saw one of them, I was like, oh no, I hope this doesn't have the support that I think it does. There was even one of his friends that wrote to the local, I think it was council person or something, trying to get him to look into it. And I'm not gonna lie, I low-key did like a John Bolton, and I also wrote to the local council. I was like, hey, he was just playing. LaDon need to be in there. Don't pay any attention to what he's saying. Like, he just kind of wilding right now. You know what it is? LaDon owe him $20, and he want the 20 back. He doesn't want him free. He should not be free. LaDon a bad person. LaDon was a bona fide monster. So now imagine LaDon go to jail. The hood is free. I've never, you've seen like homecoming parties for people when they get out of jail. I've never seen a party for somebody who just got arrested. Like, the people who felt like we finally had liberation were having a whole cookout off of this dude's charges. And then his boys with the shirt came to the barbecue. I'm like, are you happy or not? But now imagine LaDon locked up. We can finally rest easy. And then the president of the United States is like, actually, nah, LaDon, well, he not innocent, but I don't care. And now he's coming home. That's got to be what it feels like for some of these people. There were plenty of people, don't get me wrong, there were plenty people that were up there, did January 6th. They felt like the election had been stolen. They were sure that they had proof. They wanted to hang the vice president. They came in there with all the smoke, ready for all the juice. And then they get to go home, too. This has to have been a wild experience if you are a J6er, because you were there. Remember when they pooped on the desk? They let them leave that day. They pooped on the desk that day, and then they were like, get out of here. And they were like, you right. And then they left. And they were very willing to be on camera. There were people interviewing each other about what they were doing. It's like, hey, Patriot, what are you doing? Oh, I'm tearing up Nancy Pelosi's office right now in protest of the election being stolen. This is me, James Atwood. I just made up a name, but they were saying their full names. They were saying their full names, and there was one dude that I'm pretty sure was trolling because he was literally getting people to say their address, and that felt insane. Like, I've never had to say my address out loud to somebody I didn't know. And then police come, and they're like, hey, get out of here. And then people left. And you saw them leave. You saw them leave different parts of the rotunda, everything, with smirks on their faces. And then over the course of 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, started picking them up left and right. People started, hey, he was there. Oh, they're posting about it. It was on their social that they were there and what they did, right? Them pepper spraying, them throwing stuff at police, all that stuff. And then they start getting arrested. And they're like, what? But I thought, how could this be? How? And then they were sitting in jail. And then, before Trump left, they were like, surely he'll pardon us. And he was like, I'll see y'all in a bit. You know? Because there was a lot of like misunderstandings about who we could pardon and who we couldn't, and when people were charged and all this stuff like that. And then he becomes president again. This dude is now president again. And then he pardons them. And woof. Normally, I'm used to seeing a lot of people get out of jail through like innocence projects and stuff like that. People who did not do something. And then they're like, I never thought anyone would believe me. I thought I was going to sit in jail, and now I'm free. And they're nothing but grateful. They get out, they're hugging their families, they're crying and stuff. And that has not been the case with the J6. Everybody that got let out is very angry. They're so angry, and a lot of them have already tweeted, I'm buying a gun. And it's like, why would you tell anybody that? You were already caught on camera doing the thing, and now you're like, and now that I'm out, I've got a gun. Okay, LaDon. Like, it's crazy too, because this dude signed that executive order for Doge, for the Department of Government Efficiency, that Elon is supposed to run. Which Elon's also had a week. Because Elon was supposed to run Doge, and he was supposed to really like get in there of what the budgets were, of who everyone was and everything, and he was going to reshape government in the image that he saw best fit him, his businesses, and his worldview, right? And then, I don't know how he did it, but he already like did something that Trump didn't like.
Of course he did.
Like, it happened quickly, because this dude was supposed to have an office that was near the Oval Office, right? And then one of Trump's, I think a cabinet member but maybe it's an aide. I can't remember who it was, but they told Elon outright. They were like, hey, you're not going to be around here. And in fact, you're not going to talk to the president. You're going to talk to me. Which is wild. Now, don't get me wrong. That person is also like a huge MAGA Trump Republican. But still, the fact that they felt the need to wedge themselves between Trump and Elon already speaks volumes. You know, because Elon, was standing behind the presidential seal. And this is how you know that a lot of people are truly out of their minds. This dude did a Nazi salute that we then debated if it was a Nazi salute for like every day after, including the day of. And I don't know if you should be allowed to talk if you can't believe your eyes. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are people that were like, that was not a Nazi salute. He was throwing his heart out to the crowd. I'm like, well, he has a weird pitch. You know what I mean? I always throw my heart like this. And he did it twice to make sure you knew what it was. Which is pretty wild. One thing that I like about Elon, which is not many things, is that he always manages to quickly make the people that take up for him look super stupid. Like, really dumb. Because so many people had so many different things. They came to his defense. It was several things at once. It was like, guys, no, that was not a Nazi salute, okay? It was a Roman salute. I'm like, all right, you ever split a hair before? Apparently you don't know what that looks like. No, it wasn't a Roman salute. He has Asperger's. I know a lot of people with Asperger's. I know a lot of people that are on the spectrum. I know a lot of people with, different types of autism on different parts of the spectrum. And when I've hung out with them, and they've needed to point, or they want to show me affection, you know what they never did? Anything that looked like that. It's pretty crazy. It's like 100% fundamentally insane that people within, I don't know. Maybe there's some law I don't know about where if you are a news publication and you say someone did a Nazi salute and they didn't actually do a Nazi salute, that they'll like sue you into oblivion and you just won't exist anymore. But I feel like when you see it, you can say it. And the fact that so many notable publications were like, he did a thing that appeared to be, none of us have ever got the leeway that Elon got that day. If there was a video of me stealing out of a store, the headline would not read, Josh Johnson is holding something that appears to not be his in the form of a Best Buy electronic. You see how that works? You see how when you see something, you can say exactly what it is and the world won't shatter? I do think genuinely that if people call out what they saw, they might feel the need to do something about it. So rather than do any of that, let's sidestep it and just be like, look, maybe it would, but I don't know. Who knows? These do. Like, in what world do you not know? You saw it. And you know how you know you saw it? Because Nazis saw it. And you know who was excited about it? Was Nazis. They were very excited. And if they think they saw it, then what are you doing now? If they're very sure of what it was, what do you look like being so unsure? No, it was a Roman salute. No, he has Asperger's. No, he's just awkward and he gets excited. I'm awkward. I got a lot of problems. And you know what I've never done? But truly, that's like that's a thing that I watch happen. And then so many people are like, guys, he's anything but a Nazi. He's not a Nazi. He loves Jewish people. And then we pointed to tweets where people showed whole sick conspiracy theories against Jewish people and anti-Semitic rhetoric. And then he would comment under it, that's true. But somehow he's not a Nazi. And then, for everyone who was still like on the fence or still hardcore, pro Elon, he's not a Nazi, y'all. He went ahead and did y'all a huge favor. He attended an AFD rally via satellite in Germany and told them, hey, you gotta let go of the past, y'all. We can't keep feeling bad about stuff that happened. The AFD, by the way, which is the most Naziest of the Nazi. He's like, no, you gotta be proud of your Germanness. These are all dog whistles, but you can hear it. You know, I hear you, dog. And then Trump signed this executive order that rolled back protections and acknowledgement of trans people, all right? And I didn't do it. And the thing is, you know, if there's anything that I wish Trump would ban that had anything to do with gender, it would be gender reveals. They're getting genuinely dangerous. I watched a gender reveal where they had, because they're creative in the worst ways. Because then I watched this gender reveal where they had a blue plane and a pink plane, right? And both planes were flying at the couple, right? And then I guess whichever plane, I don't really know how it was supposed to work because both planes flying, so I don't know how we're gonna figure out what the baby is. You know what I mean? So then the pink plane veered off to the right, and the blue plane kept straight. So I guess that meant it was a boy because they started celebrating, right? But they started celebrating without moving, and the plane was still coming at them. And so it's not a big plane, but it's a little bigger than a toy plane, and it hit the husband in the face and chopped his head all up. Like he's alive, he's fine, but you could tell it hit him hard, and he trying to still celebrate, but he's clearly concussed. He's 100% concussed, just... Didn't even put a hand out or anything. I don't know who is like winning with this thing. You know, maybe if you're a tech billionaire, you're doing very well because he's going to push through to like lower regulations so that you can make things as fast as possible, even if those things need some guardrails because they might be potentially dangerous, whatever, you know. And if you really hate other people, then yes, you're having a good week. But for Americans, like specifically for us, I don't know what these things do. You know? Like I don't know what rolling back what few protections there were for trans people does for me. I thought the election was about safety and eggs. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was like everyone was talking about eggs a lot. Like everybody was like really hitting those eggs. I didn't know eggs were everybody's favorite food. Like eggs. People weren't even talking about bread. They were talking specifically about eggs. I think a lot of people went to like Kroger or Walmart or something on the wrong day and they were like, hell no, eggs is my number one issue. I'm a one issue voter and eggs is that vote. And so I don't know what any of this has to do with eggs. But it doesn't seem like we're getting there. You know? Even the language of the executive order was weird. The language of the executive order was like, you have to treat and address people as the sex that they were assigned at conception, which is not how That's not how anything works. If it's conception, dude, if it's conception, when it happens, then there's no men. There would be no dudes. This is not a plan. Like, this is terrifying. Don't be wrong. There are plenty of people who are scared. And there are plenty of people who don't know what to do next. And one thing I really want people to stop doing, and I'm not anybody's boss, you can do what you want, you can probably, whatever, screw me, but we're not like cooked. Don't do that thing. Don't give up immediately. Like there's a sort of rhetoric and an idea that like, oh, we're finished and this is it, and like there's nothing that can be done. It's like guys, no. But then you see people devastated, giving up very quickly. Oh man, we're ruined. We're so cooked. It's like, I mean, if you believe that, then we are. Like, if you earnestly believe that, then yes, absolutely. That's what cooked looks like, because cooked is done, and you like your steak raw. So, yeah, I mean, like day one, we're cooked. That's also, that kind of made me furious. I'm not gonna lie. Not even like an armed resistance attacking people or something like that. Oh, we're cooked. It's like, you saw him with his pen. Like, I'm saying genuinely, people, please, if you feel anything, then you should openly speak it. One of the reasons that these things spread, why negativity spreads, why like the general pessimism towards movements spread, is because people let their doubt reign over everything, all of their discussion, all of their thinking. It's like, I'm not saying that I know exactly what to do about executive orders that he passed that I don't agree with. Those things are for the courts to hopefully fight, But I will say, for every person that I know that was affected by an executive order that he has, that I know is scared, I talk to that person. And I tell them, hey, I'm at least here. Now, I'm not the president, but I'm here for you, locally, right? That's how you build community. And that's how you keep people from being afraid. Because people don't know. They genuinely don't know that there are people that are willing to back them up. They have no idea, right? He signed an executive order that was supposed to take away birthright citizenship for people who were not already citizens, and to stop any confusion, it was going to be birthright citizenship starting now, right? Because if it was for all time, then like half of his cabinet, they wouldn't even know where to take them, put them. And then he started work on this thing that he'd been promising. And it was a thing that people didn't really think he was going to do, of like mass deportations. And so far, these are the numbers so far as I know them. Once again, I'm willing to be like fact checked. If I'm wrong. But this is from what I've read and from what I know, this is basically what has happened. They did some ICE raids in places like Chicago, and there were some in Texas too, Arizona, and like plenty of like sanctuary cities. That's ones they were like targeting initially. I'm not sure why, because you would think in the red states that voted for this thing, they would want it first. Like, that just seems like it's making nobody happy. And they rounded up some people, and they went ahead and took off for Mexico. And so then they take off for Mexico. We did it. We raided. We got some people. Gonna drop them off at Mexico because these are Mexican illegal immigrants, right? And so then FAA comes on and they're like, hey, don't land here. And I do think that nobody really thought that part through. I don't think people really thought. And then even when they let them land, they were like, don't let them off the plane. Just turn around. And they were like, all right, okay. We will be back though. We'll be back with more, right? Because I should be clear here that apparently, from what I've read, just deporting these 80 people cost the taxpayer $700,000. So I do not know how we're going to save any money. I don't know how this plan is going to work. 80. There's supposedly 11 million undocumented immigrants in the U.S., right? 11 million, so 3.3% of the population, right? And we started with 80. If I owed somebody $11 million, and I told them, hey, I ain't got all that right now, but I do have this 80, I'm getting my ass beat. That's crazy. 80 and $700,000. I'm not in government. I'm not acting like I know how to fix a situation. I'm not acting like I know what to do about where we're at. But I will say this. If I know I got to spend $700,000 to get 80, this is just me. This is just me. This is just me. I'm not telling anybody else to do it. This is just me. This is what I would do if it were me and I knew $700,000 for 80. I would just tell those 80 people, listen, I'm going to break you off some. Start a new life somewhere else. You get 1/80th of 700,000, right? And come back in like 6 months, all right? Because that's one thing that you will not hear. As this whole thing builds out, you will not hear about people coming over illegally. They're going to act like it's not happening. They're going to act like it's all going one way. They're denying everything. They're denying all of these legal ways to become a citizen, legal ways to gain citizenship, legal ways to get a card or just to be able to work in the U.S. They canceled a lot of appointments for people who were doing the right thing, right? And so my thing is just use your logic and pay attention to what is not being said over the next few months to several years, because they're not going to want to admit that these people are coming in still, even while they're making these efforts, because it will make them look even more desperate, even less efficient, you know? Because they told us before the election all of these incredible stories about how migrants were coming in. They were like, and look, I don't even know how they're doing it, but in Honduras and Guatemala, they're disassembling themselves, mailing themselves here, and then reassembling themselves, and then walking around amongst us. But now that they've supposedly shut down the border, they want us to believe that all of these legal ways of entering have also just stopped. And that's not true. You're fighting a losing battle if it takes you $700,000 to send 80 people somewhere that says, hey, we're not... You know what I mean? That's one of the craziest things too. Is a deeply ironic thing that they did all this, sent the people over, and then the other countries were like, "Hey, those are American immigrants." No, that's crazy. No, and I think a lot of it. I think a lot of the tactics that have been taken and some of the logic that's been used on the news and everything is just is genuinely fear based. It's to rile you up. It's to make you feel afraid and everything. And even in the executive orders, 100 executive orders or so, and so many of them don't really say anything. They don't really do anything. You just sort of make a show of signing it. Because I'll be honest with you, I saw some of the raids that were taking place and some of the statements that people made and how they're taking things that were normally off the table, they're putting them back on so they can come in your church, they can come in your school. People are scared to go to places that felt safe and everything. And I will say I don't know exactly what to do. I'm not acting like I have any answers. I just don't know how possibly this is the road, this is the tack to take, people will say things like, oh, they don't pay any taxes. It's don't they eat? Then didn't they pay the sales tax? Didn't they pay? And by the way, this not paying taxes thing, they get paid under the table by Americans, by the way. There's no job that they have that an American doesn't give them, and pay them under the table in cash, and probably pay them a little less than minimum wage. Probably pay them in even numbers. So what money could you possibly stand to gain And I'm not saying the money doesn't exist, that it's not there, and that there shouldn't be a path to legal citizenship so that they can pay all the taxes that we all pay. I'm just saying that, like, are they each owing more than like $700,000 when you put 80 of them together? I don't know.
I've been having trouble. I can't stop thinking about how we've gone from this like 36-hour news cycle that we were kind of in last year to now this sort of 12-hour, maybe even 6-hour news cycle that we're in now. It's just everything bombards you all the time, and there's no time to take in a story as it's happening. As soon as a story happens, there's another thing to replace it that's the big deal for this 20 minutes, you know? And it's hard to even vet stories now. Like, there'll be a story that seems like a big deal, but the more you think about it, the more you're like, why'd you tell me that? But it'll be big news for a second, and then it'll be like, oh, but then that was just wasting my time, okay? Like, I don't know if you saw, but apparently after all this time, they've nailed it down. They've solved it. Apparently, we got Jack the Ripper. Some would say a little late. Some would definitely say that all the women alive now are worried about the men alive now. But at least we got Jack the Ripper, you know? He eluded us for a while, but he couldn't hide forever. Apparently, some guy claims he nailed it down with some DNA, and after I finished reading it, I was like, yep. Think he got away with it. Because that's the thing, it's like you're inundated with so many different notifications, so many different news stories going down the line. You can't even enjoy the little things that aren't even quite news, but like, remember when a video would be viral for like a whole day? And we'd all share it for like a day. We at least used to have a day. And now there's so much news, you don't get to enjoy anything for like a full day. And not everybody even sees the thing that's dope. Like, this is just me personally, but I've very much been enjoying how terribly these Dove releases have been going at funerals. In case you're not familiar, there are some funerals where everybody can't get like a 21-gun salute or anything like that. So they'll do something special, whether the funeral director suggests it or the family wants it, and they'll have these doves. And it depends on how they want to do it for the funeral, right? Some people say some sweet words and they release one dove at a time. Some people say some sort of message. They give a eulogy either at the cemetery or at another special place to the person that passed, and then they release all the doves at one time. But one thing that's been happening consistently is they will stand people in a line and give them the cue to release the dove. And when you see a dove release, it does make you feel something. It's like a powerful thing. I understand why it's such a symbol for people. But the last few videos I've seen, the doves do just sort of die rather than fly away. There's one video that is truly spectacular. It is art to the point where I worried it was a sketch. There's 3 family members standing in a row, and this first one's cute to throw the dove up, and she even bends her knees a little bit, really give it some oomph, and the dove bounces off her hands and then bounces off the ground. As she snaps back, she's like, ooh, I hope that's not an omen. And then the second person releases their dove, and that dove flies off beautifully. And you're like, okay, not so bad. And then the third person goes to release his dove, and I think he knew his was dead. I
If anything, I feel like he pitched that one. He was trying to like, if I can toss it high enough, maybe it'll wake. There was another funeral where they were doing dove releases, and they had like 5 people lined up, and they were doing a different like stanza to this poem, and at every break in the stanza they released one of the doves and stuff, and they were getting close to the end. So this I don't know if this woman was number 5 or number 4, but she was whispering at the funeral director the entire time, "He dead." And the funeral director's like, "What? What? Hand me another one. He dead." And the funeral director's like, "That's all I brought." So, "What do you mean that's all you brought? He clearly dead." She's like, funeral director looking at him, trying not to interrupt the beautiful poem that's being read. And he's like, no, he's asleep. He's asleep. He'll wake up. Just throw him. He'll wake up. You throw him, he'll wake up. And they released the second picture, and the third picture is right here, and she's like, "This is a dead bird in my hand. Don't play with me. Find another bird." And he's like, "I swear it's asleep, just throw it." And then the third person throws theirs up, and then they read the poem, and the woman's standing there like, you could tell they get the like last couple lines of the poem, and this woman holding this bird goes, she just tried to like wake bird up, and then they end the poem, everybody looking at her, and the field director like, and then sure enough, she go to, and the bird just plopped down. And she was looking at the field director daggers like, "This your boy?" And then the fifth person, their dove fly off, no problem. So everybody got a good dove, except for her. I felt for her. One thing I don't know if everybody thinks about when it comes to those dove releases is where they go. What's next? I don't know anything about this, so I don't know if the dove returns and, you know, they just know to go to the funeral director's house or something. I'm assuming they start a new life. Like, I'm assuming the dove gets thrown in the air. It was like, what a beautiful ceremony. I didn't know him, but y'all sent him off right. And then they fly off and try to get things going themselves. I'm just trying to imagine what it would be like to be like a released dove at a Bronx funeral. You know? You're a released dove at a Bronx funeral. And then you land on some roof somewhere. You're like, all right, I guess I gotta get my bearings. And then a pigeon land right behind you, just, "What's up, sweet thing?" Pigeon just seemed like a very rub the belly bird, you know? It's like, "How you doing, huh? Hey, you looking fine as hell. No spots or nothing. Hey, you must be new to the city. Let me show you around. I know where the good spots are." That's the world we're in now, you know? Nothing but news stories, nonstop. Everything's coming at you. We've gone from this 36-hour news cycle to the 12-hour, 6-hour, 4-hour on a really bad day. And you cannot care about everything.
You can't, like, you want to have empathy, and especially when something's big, you want to care about it for as much attention as you feel like it deserves. But then another thing happens, and you're just daisy-chained bad news all the time, or what's supposed to be important news all the time. And so sometimes things fall out of your head because you're like, I can't focus on everything at once, and some things I can't do anything about. You know? And so after a while, you haven't heard about something long enough, you just assume it's been resolved if nobody's talking about it. But nobody's talking about it because there's so many things to talk about. And you also have to measure up how you feel about the world right now with the fact that everyone trying to give you news about the world also wants your money. They want a subscription from you. So they're just inundating you with all this stuff because, like, maybe you'll like news from us, so we'll just keep sending you notifications. Because there's always a lot happening in the world. That's not different. The fact that we have access to it is different. Like, I was thinking about all of this last week. I was just sitting there and thinking to myself, dang, we never did get those astronauts down. What's the plan? That was a while ago. We should probably do something about that. And look, it's not like I can do something about it. You know, I care, but I can't help. It's a lot like when your loudest, dumbest friend is in a bar fight, you know? And they're over there talking trash, or you're like, he over there, though. I would never be able to get there in time. There's nothing I could possibly do. He's kind of on his own, which is a shame. I wish I could help, but he's all the way over there, and that other guy is very big, and no one was talking to me. So, in case you don't know, in case you missed it, which is understandable, there were two astronauts that went up, Butch and Sonny, and they went up to the International Space Station, and they were the first to, I believe, man this Boeing Starliner. So they went up in this Boeing Starliner, which some would say was a mistake. Because I don't know how many news stories you consumed last year, but Boeing was not having a fantastic year. And Boeing has different divisions, by the way. It's not all one thing. It's one company, but it's not all one thing. Everybody's not working on everything at the same time. So the plane people and the space people aren't necessarily the same, but by and large, as a company, wasn't looking good. You know? And so they went up to the International Space Station with this Boeing Starliner. And I'm not going to act like I understand or know how to do what astronauts do. I don't get it, and I'm glad that they do. Because astronauts, NASA, all of these experiments that they do in space have yielded incredible things for us down here on Earth that you wouldn't necessarily even connect to space. You know, like memory foam, inner ear thermometer, all the times that they've had to solve a problem up there, it's led to us having something dope down here. So keep going to space. I think that that's great. I don't know what you do up there, but all I know is it makes my life better, and I appreciate it. You know, because everything I know about working in space, I know from the movies. And whenever I see it in the movie, it's just the astronaut outside of the ship with a wrench. Every time I see it, it's Sandra Bullock or Bruce Willis outside the ship, just... I don't know what it is about space that makes screws so loose, but like, I genuinely assumed that a quarter of being an astronaut was just tightening. I don't know why space is so loose, but it's just you gotta keep it tight all the time. And so they send them up there, and this Boeing Starliner had a bunch of other problems. It had a bunch of other issues on the sort of unmanned tests that they were doing. You know, and so it's very brave of them to even go up there and be doing these experiments and try and make a better world for us, you know? They get up there, and they're supposed to be up there for like 8 days, right? And I don't know if they caught it
or it got caught down here, but there were a bunch of problems with the Boeing Starliner. Some of them were helium leaks, because helium is incredibly hard to just capture, just keep it so light, and it's very easy to escape. And then they were worried about the thrusters, and so they were worried about control issues if they were to come down, right? Because Boeing used to be a better company. Boeing used to be a company that put engineers and innovation first. And then they had a bit of a merger, and that merger started to prioritize shareholders, prioritize the money. And so some of that innovation, some of those engineers started to fall to the wayside, and you have what we get now: planes that make you a little nervous and ships that only go one way. Because, make no mistake, Butch and Sonny are fine in the sense that they are the most seasoned astronauts that we have. You know, Sonny has logged potentially more hours than I think any. She had 322 days in space, and she has logged like 50 hours of spacewalking and everything. She's like a true veteran. And even before that, she was a diver in the Navy, and she piloted combat helicopters. Like, she knows what she's doing. And Butch is the same way. Butch had already been on missions before this. And to be fair, this was going to potentially be one of their last missions. And so for them to go up in space for those 8 days, them getting some extra days, maybe they don't mind. I just am trying to not project how I would feel. Because if it were me, because once again, I'm not an astronaut. I can never be an astronaut. Not good enough at math, throw up too easy. So I don't give off astronaut, right? But if it had been me, if I had gone up into space, it was supposed to be 8 days, and then they were like, ooh, that ship, may not be able to send you back down in that ship, I would be like, oh, okay, cool. So when's the next ship coming up? And so some of this is being explained to me by my friend, so forgive me if I'm like a bit incorrect, but he's saying that not only are they good because of how seasoned they are and how much they genuinely love being in space, but also because they have these like pods and stuff and different things they can send up to give them supplies, give them food and everything, give them things to continue their experiments, more wrenches. I don't know what it is, but like they can send stuff up. And so in my head, I was like, oh, okay, all right. Like, if you can send stuff up, like you can send a pod up or whatever, then why don't they just, like, why don't they just hop in the pod when all the food, like, after they get all the food out and they eat the food, oh, delicious, and then they get in, they could get in the pod, right? And then take the pod down. He's like, no, it doesn't actually work like that. You know, it's not a manable ship, and it's too small and everything. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Why don't they make a bigger pod? You know, enough to like fit people with just some seats, just for fun, just some seats. And then they send that up, and they could even put like an Xbox controller in it, just to have something, you know? And then send them down with that. And he's like, Josh, it doesn't work like that. Like, everything you're saying doesn't make any sense. And I was like, okay, I understand that everything I'm saying doesn't make sense, but the way it does work is also sound like it doesn't make sense. To me. Just to me. All right? I'm not Butch and Sonny, and I'm not going to speak for them. I'm talking about if I was in space for too long, if it was me, which it will never be. It's not going to happen. I would pass out. So this isn't even a problem that we really have to discuss. I just couldn't get it out of my head. Because in my head, it's like, to send me something but not let me come back down in the thing you sent me would be like if I was stranded. Imagine, stranded on Earth. Let's say I'm just stranded on Earth somewhere, and you're worried about me, and you're worried about me having supplies, having food and everything. So you send me an Uber Eats. But then you go, no, don't get in the car. Don't get in the car. That's not how this works. This is not a car, this is a burrito car. See, you don't understand rocket science. This is a burrito car. You just try to get in any kind of car you want. That doesn't make sense. Stay there till we come get you with a car. Oh, it's tough. It really is. Because if you read articles and if you listen to interviews with Butch and Sonny, they're not just in great spirits. They, if they're to tell it, are getting all this extra time in space. Space is their passion, it's their happy place. And so it's somewhere where they can go that is unlike where any of us can go. They see a perspective of the earth that most people will never get in person. That's beautiful. And the expanses that they get to wake up to, that's incredible. You know? And so if this really was going to be one of their last missions and it lasts all this extra time, there is something to be said for like, wow, I really got to spend a surprising amount of time in space. And I hope they feel that way. I really do. I just know if it was me, I would also be putting a good face on. So that way, everybody's working real hard to bring me down and I can whoop some ass. That would be... Because you know how when you're on the phone with like customer service or something, you got to be extra nice even though you get madder and madder and madder. Because if you start cursing, they're like, every time you swear at me, my computer seems to jam up. I don't know how the two are related, but they definitely are. May want to fix your attitude. No, I'm playing as nice as possible until I get down. And best believe when I get down, we're having it out. And I'm not even like a bad man like that. I can't even fight, but I tell you, I'm biting the first person I see. I cannot swing, but best believe I will catch a mouthful of your chin, all right? You leave me up there all this time? What's wrong with you? You must be out of your mind. You got me. Because look, I believe it. I believe that they love being in space, but everybody has a bad day. And I think a bad day in space is an extra bad day. Let's say you wake up. And it's just one of those days. You wake up wrong side of the pod. You know, very upset. And all you want to do is brush your teeth and maybe go read a book or something. You know. But you take your eyes off your toothbrush for 1 second. Now all of a sudden you... Grab the toothpaste. Oh. Or maybe, you know, you got your coworkers up there. Butch and Sonny, I'm sure they get along, but there's other people in the space station that can leave. And so I'm sure you have your disagreements with your coworkers. We all have it. We all have it. You want to storm off. Very difficult in space. You want to storm off, but it just doesn't hit the same. Because when you storm off, you want everything to be perfect. You want to be loud as you storm off. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? You want the feet to be slamming. If you slam a door, you want it to really shake after it slams and everything. You don't get any of that in space. I remember one time I was trying to storm off. I felt like I was in the right, and I was done. I was really angry, and I tried to storm off. But I had a small hole in my shoe, and it had rained the day before. And so I was squeaking as I walked off. And that's a hard thing to come back from, because I had the storming off words ready. I was like, this discussion is over. So
sure enough, you want to storm off in space. Maybe your coworker's making you mad. And you've had enough of it. You've been up here for, 2 extra months or whatever. You just want to go. So you're like, all right, that's how you feel. That's how you feel? All right, then you know what? You can finish the experiment yourself because I'm out of here.
I'm trying to leave.
Well, I can empathize with where the astronauts are coming from because I worked at a grocery store, right? And
Give me a second. That is wild. In the time I'm talking, I haven't built up enough trust that there's a point that I'm trying to... Y'all are rude. That's wild. Okay. Anyway. I used to work at a grocery store. And I worked at this grocery store, and one of the reasons I wanted the job and one of the reasons I got the job is because my apartment was only going to be 1 mile from my home store. So I could walk to work, and if I was late, could run, right? And then sure enough, when you get hired by this particular company, when you work for the company, you don't work just for that one store, you work for the district. And so what they can do is they can put you in different stores if they need to patch up. Maybe somebody quit and they need to patch up some shifts or something like that. And so when I first get hired, I'm willing to go wherever. And I'm only at my home store, but I'm taking up people's shifts. If anybody needs to switch with me or needs me to take their shift, I'm taking it if I can. I'm coming in every time they call me in because somebody called out. I'm actually coming in so much that I get a bunch of overtime, then they get mad at me and tell me to stop. But I was like, you called me. So I'm sorry I didn't self-snitch on the way in that this was hour 48 this week. Like, thought you needed help. And then one day, I get put on a different store, a store that's really far from my apartment. And it was because someone had quit abruptly, and so they needed someone there that week. So it was only supposed to be that week. And I get there. I had never been to this store before, but it's in a remarkably unfortunate, it is in a bad neighborhood, okay? And I don't mean bad neighborhoods in like they have crime sometimes. I'm talking about fundamentally everything about this place felt like the worst version of the Twilight Zone. This is the only place I've ever seen on 3 different occasions a rat walk out of the trap. And Tom and Jerry style, like really starting his day, yawning and everything, stretching his legs and stuff, going about his day. And it was one of the big industrial traps. I don't even know what's in those things, but it's supposed to kill rats. And that's where he was chilling. So these are grizzled veteran rats. And I go in the store first day, I'm ringing people up and everything. And this one person comes to my line. She only had 1 item. I scan her protein bar. She pays me, and as she's paying and she's putting the cash in my hand, she leans in a little bit, which was odd. That's not something that you normally do. And then when I'm handing her her change, she says, "Thank you. There's a poop in aisle 5," and then walks out. And I'm sure she didn't do it. I'm sure she didn't do it. But the way she walked out so quickly, I was like, do you have something to do with this? And so it's not really my problem. I'm hoping she was just joking. And so I just keep ringing people up, right? I'm just continuing to ring people up. And then my manager comes over, and my manager is like, hey, Josh, we gonna switch you off a register and put you on the floor for a little bit. Because, you know, there's so many crazy things happening today. And so I'll go ahead and switch with you. And so then I had to count out my till and then go to the floor. Now, I'm still not electing myself to go to aisle 5, right? I went straight back to the back room to grab some chips that were out in front. And so I grabbed the box, and I'm opening the box and, you know, starting to stock the chips. And I hear a scream. And so I'm like, okay, it must be real. I just hear someone go, whoa, whoa, whoa. And so then I just keep stocking because I'm like, I don't want that to be part of my life, right? And then I get a tap on the shoulder, and it's my manager. She's like, hey, there's a whole like situation on aisle 5. If you don't mind checking it out real quick. And in my head, I'm like, I thought you were gonna be ringing people up. You just been trying to set me up this whole time, using some very convenient language. And so I walk over to aisle 5, and I see it, right? And the only thing on aisle 5, on the way to aisle 5, by the way, I passed 2 people who were running away from aisle 5. Like, fully bumped me out of the way. Just like, huh, huh, huh. You know, like when you're in a zombie movie and everybody's running in one direction, but you got the shotgun, so you got to head towards the zombies. And so then I turn the corner, I see it, and the only thing on aisle 5 is it and one guy. And that one guy is looking at it, and then he looks at me and goes, I didn't do it. Didn't think you did, dog. Like, I understand you being just as shocked as I am. And so then I go to the back because I don't really know what to do. You know what I mean? Like, this has been laid at my feet, and I don't feel prepared. And so I grab the broom and the dustpan and the kitty litter. And so that I go ahead and like scoop and litter and everything. And that was day 1. That was the first day that I worked at that store. The second day, this older lady walked up to me at the register. I started ringing her up and everything, and she was hitting on me hard. And she was hitting on me in the way that older people can hit on you because they're not saying anything vulgar, but they're being very vulgar at the same time. They're not using the words, but you can tell the intent is there. And so she walked up and she was like, hi, young man. And I was like, that's the wildest I've ever been called young man in my life, because she really hit that hard A with the man. It lasted forever. She's like, how you doing, young man? And I'm sitting there like the name tag says Josh, like it. And so I'm ringing her up, and she's like, what you doing later? And I was like, work. I'm just ringing things up as fast as I can. And then she's like, can you bag it for me? I was like, sure. So I'm putting it in the bag. She looks at me and she's like, I like the way you do it. And I'm like, you can see what I'm saying. Like, this is X-rated, what she's doing to me right now. But it's all under the radar. It's all, if you try to call her out for this right now, she'd be like, I'm not doing anything. But like, we can all hear it together right now. Like, I like the way you do it. I'm like, oh, okay. Thank you. Thanks so much. Meanwhile, I'm just ringing up
can after can of prunes. It's just nothing but prunes. It's like the store's worth of prunes. In my head, I'm like, there's no way she's gonna be able to carry all this. Put the last one in the bag. And she was like, I'll see you when I come back. And I've never felt more undressed in my life. It was day 2. And day 3, I was ringing somebody up. My manager walks up and they're like, hey, just so you know, watch that guy over there. You know, turn your head, watch that guy. And she pointed to this dude and she was like, look, we forgot to mention this, but he does come in here periodically and you just need to watch him because he will eventually start arguing with the cantaloupes. And I always try to be respectful of my bosses and stuff, but I did turn to her like, what am I supposed to do about that? Break it up? Like, what do you expect? Why you even tell me this information? We have a security guard, right? And so I'm bringing people up, and like 5 customers later, I hear in the distance, don't talk to me like that. And so immediately I turn my head to our security guard. Our security guard, all I see is his back foot walking out of the store. Because we always had security guards on hand because it's a bad neighborhood and everything, but at the same time, they were allowed to take their break whenever they wanted. So then I think he saw the cantaloupe argument breaking out. He was like, that sounds like a great time to have a snack. I'm hearing a snack right now. And so my manager comes over and she's like, we should go say something. And so we walk over and this dude's holding this cantaloupe and, you know, letting the cantaloupe have it. And he's like, you always do this. And so I'm like, hey, sir, how you doing? Hello? Hi. And he's not listening to me at all because this is the point in the argument where he got his receipts ready. He's like, no, because last time you said, he's like making all of his really good points and he doesn't want to be interrupted. Right? I was like, hey, could you just keep it down a little bit? You're scaring some of the other customers, right? And this guy was like, oh, I'm sorry. Which I could not have seen coming. This guy goes, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to get loud. It just, you know how it is. I was like, yeah, no, I know. Yeah, cool. I'll go back to ringing people up, and then like several customers later, maybe 10 customers later, I see this dude in my line. And I start ringing up this one customer slow because I was like, maybe someone else will finish in time for him to get in another line. I do not want to have a conversation with this dude. And as I'm ringing them up, this guy's holding the cantaloupe and he goes, don't start again. Don't start again. And right as I look up, he's like, you know what? We're through. And he slammed the cantaloupe down. And I know he was arguing with a cantaloupe. But in that moment, I was like, oh! This dude storms out of the store and everything. And I gotta clean the cantaloupe up. And as I'm cleaning up, I'm like, I'm sorry he hurt you. And that was just 3 days working there. You know, 3 days working there. And I was supposed to be there for a week. And they ended up having me there for 6 months. So when I tell you I can empathize with what the astronauts are going through, like
Some of y'all should be clapping because you didn't believe in me at all. Like some of y'all, as soon as I spoke, you're like, he thinks he's an astronaut. Because even if you love space, even if you love being up there and that's your happy place and everything, which I totally get, and I hope that that's the case. I'm sure if you went up there and they told you it was going to be 8 days, that you probably had plans. It was June of 2024. I'm sure you wanted to do something else before the end of the year besides float. You know, I'm sure they would love to. I'm going to go out on limb and say it. Probably vote in person. That probably would have been great. And now they're up there. And I even saw an article that said that they had initially said it was going to be February of 2025 when they were able to get them down. They told them that in September. And then it got pushed a little bit more, so to like March of 2025. And then I just saw an article that said that there have been some developments, and they may actually be able to go up there and get them early. If it were me, I'd be like, don't say early around me. Don't say early around me at all. Because Butch and Sonny are up there, and they're going to be returning to a very different Earth. Which might be why they so cool with being left up there. That might be it. They're probably like, nah, I'm good. I'm chilling.
I wasn't. I just finished. I had no idea the Diddy documentary would be episodes. Episodes. I knew a documentary was coming out. I thought it'd be like a documentary. You know, like when you see a documentary, it's a feature-length film, but it's a documentary. This is episodes. 50 Cent produced a documentary about Diddy that he's apparently been working on for a decade. And it has episodes. I've never hated someone for episodes. That's what every person I've ever hated, it's been a very short story. I'm just like, oh, we don't really get along, feel like they betrayed me, and that's about it. 50 Cent sat the world down for 4 episodes. This is crazy. 4 episodes. With some of the most, this is some of the best footage I've seen in a documentary, because what they did, this is insane. This is fundamentally crazy, okay? The documentary starts with Diddy in a hotel room talking to his staff and his lawyers about what to do about this like incoming indictment, right? It's like 5 days before he gets arrested, right? And as I'm watching this, I'm like, that's curious, because this is 50 Cent's documentary about Diddy, yet there's a camera in Diddy's hotel while he talks to his lawyers. He's talking to his lawyers about a strategy on what to do, like a game plan. How did 50... How did 50 Cent get this footage? Is he in disguise? How is he in the room for this thing? And then this dude's like on the phone. Diddy is on the phone, and he's talking about how we need to be aggressive, we need to come back. He literally says we need to get like the dirtiest, most like expert propaganda we can out there. Which, okay, insane to say on camera. A camera I think you know is there. That's wild. I just had this question in my head of like, how did they get this footage? Turns out that Diddy was making a documentary.
And he had started recording everything because this documentary was going to be about like his comeback, right? So he's like covering everything himself, recording everything himself, so he has his point of view out there, right? So then he was going to make a documentary. He thought he was going to beat everything and then make a documentary, release that documentary, and then get everyone on his side again. And now you have to ask yourself, how did 50 come into the possession of Diddy's footage for Diddy's documentary about Diddy? This is crazy because he's making a document himself, but then he took that documentary. Apparently what happened was that Diddy did go to jail, and then he couldn't pay the cameraman. So then 50 was like, I'll pay the cameraman. And Diddy is such a terrible person. He is such a terrible person that even in the documentary he was making about his comeback, it makes him look so bad that 50 didn't need to edit any of it. It literally, he already said on a camera he knew was there, we need to get the dirtiest, like most filthy expert propaganda we can out there. That was for his documentary. And then 50 took it and he was like, this will do nicely, yes. This is fantastic. Because I was sitting there, I was like, because also, the other thing happened. So he gets off the phone with his lawyers, gets off the phone with his team and everything, and then he stands up and he's looking out the window, and out the window, he's like, gotta be like 26th floor or something. He's like in like a high rise, and across on the roof of another building, another tall building, but on the roof of another building is just, Diddy is looking out the window to another building, and on top of that building is just the police. I'm not the police, so I don't know exactly how they operate, but that's the first. Usually in a stakeout, they hide. The fact that the police are outside Diddy's window on another building just like... This is crazy. Once again, this is his footage. His footage. That's wild. 50 Cent has been promoting this documentary with glee. He's been going because he hates Diddy so much. He hate Diddy. You think you hate stuff. You do. You think you hate things. Ooh, I hate racism. No, not as much as 50 hates Diddy. Ooh, I hate sexism. You haven't even met sexism if you compare it to how much 50 hates Diddy. Oh, I hate olives. You love olives compared to how much 50 hates Diddy. Not ready for how much 50 hates Diddy. He hates his, first of all, he hates some episodes. He hates this man. Episode after episode, he hates him enough to get good footage. Narrative stringing footage. Complete through line footage. Never before seen footage. Man, he hates this dude. He's been promoting, he's been going everywhere, going on talk shows, everything. Goes on all these talk shows. This dude went on like MS Now, whatever they're calling it, and he's talking, I think he was talking to Ari Melber, and Ari is asking him, just seems like they're having a conversation about like him specifically, and they were like, do you have any like heroes, people you look up to? And from what I could tell, 50 was basically like, I have people in my life that have accomplished things that I would like to accomplish, but I don't put anyone up on that level to just like call them my hero. He doesn't like deify a person like that. And then Ari asked him, what about like in your life, have you seen any like villains you don't want to be like, people you don't want pattern your life after, and he was like, he was like, Diddy. This dude, because this dude has been making this documentary for a while, just quietly, in the shadows, just collecting, just making it happen. A decade of work going into a documentary. And now it's like he gets to show it off. This is his baby. You know? And you know how new parents are. You know how new parents, this is the miracle of life, happened through you. You made this person that you see, it's changed your whole perspective on the world. You see this person now that you can't, anyone brings up, how have you been lately? How have I been this person? The miracle of life, my baby. Look, do you want to see my baby? Do you want to see pictures of the baby? You have thousands of pictures of the baby. But no parent that I've ever met is promoting their child the way 50 is promoting this documentary series. This man went on, apparently, this is the rumor, apparently he went on like the ABC stations specifically to do the interview because ABC is one of the only stations they play in prison. This is a biblical amount of hate. Cain didn't hate Abel this much. This is wild. He is doing everything but looking right to the camera, smiling and waving at Diddy. This is insane. This is wild. He's smiling so hard. I've never seen him smile like this. This man's smiling. 50 Cent in every interview is smiling ear to ear. I didn't know he had dimples. I think they just came in. Wow, he hates him so much. Oh, man. Wow. He hates him. So, like, I've never seen hate like this. And to produce something that is both, like, a product of your hate, because most hate is fruitless. You know, people talk about hate, and one of those famous quotes, hate is drinking poison and hoping the other person will die. Apparently, hate is also making a documentary series detailing how much everyone else should hate this person. One of the craziest things to me about the Diddy documentary is that the pure length means that he's more evil now. Now that we've got like a documentary about it, he's more evil now than a bunch of other historical figures. There are people from World War II that did not get 4 episodes on them anywhere. That's crazy. During the trial, I don't know if y'all saw this, but there were some people that were they were out there saying like free Diddy. They were out there, you know, with signs, like picketing, like he might be innocent, and maybe he was just another innocent black man being railroaded by the system. And apparently, all those people were being paid $20 an hour by Diddy. Here's the thing. This is what's so funny about that to me, is that, like, they're out there being like, he's innocent, but they're also not hiding the fact that he is paying them to say that. And not only is he paying $20 an hour to stand outside and be like, yo, free Diddy outside the courthouse, but even while paying $20 an hour, he was only able to get like 14 people. Do you know how guilty you have to be offering up money, and then people just pass it by the street like, I think I'm good. Do you know how many people could use $20? People literally, you know, get on the train asking for change in New York all the time. And even they were like, you know what? Not every $20 is a good $20. Oh, this documentary is insane because there's so much that we knew beforehand. There's so many things that we already knew where we were like, all right, this is, we've all seen it. A lot of baby oil, way more baby oil than anybody needs, right? Which I will say this, watching the documentary now, knowing what we know, editing-wise, they didn't need that many shots of baby oil. That does feel like 50 Cent was standing in the editing room like, no, and put some baby oil right there. No, they mentioned baby oil, so go ahead and throw to the baby oil. Okay? Oh, but you watch it and, yeah, you already knew the things he was implicated in. You already saw, oh, okay, there's this shooting way back when, there's this assault of this other rapper, there's all these like whisperings, and then you watch the documentary, and I don't know how he did it. I don't know how 50 Cent did this. This man managed to get things we've never seen before. Do you know how hard it is to have never before seen footage of things from like 20, 25 years ago? Like, a good example is, in the documentary, they talk about how much Diddy may have had to do with the deaths of both Tupac and Biggie, right? Which is also insane that someone who can't rap at all may have deprived us of two of the greats. That's crazy. It's so disgusting. It would be like if Trump shot two of the presidents that were on Mount Rushmore. Like, it's... like, and then years later, we're just sitting here like, not Lincoln. How you gonna do that to George Washington? No, it's wild. And so in the documentary, there's like footage, never before seen footage of moments leading up to the deaths of both Biggie and Tupac. I can't describe how hard it is to come by things we didn't even know existed. Both of these were police investigations. The police investigated, not hard, the police investigated both the deaths of Biggie and Tupac, and somehow 50 Cent found footage. I've never in my life hated somebody enough to find footage There's like this video, and this is also, you gotta go back to when this happened. This isn't when everybody had like a footage maker in their pocket. Do you know how we are accidentally being surveilled at all times? All of us. I know you think you're not because maybe you don't have your phone out and you're not posting where you are all the time, but the phone knows. The phone is very aware of where you are. And the phone loves snitching. The phone, one of your phone's favorite things to do is hit up a Fortune 500 company and be like, we over here. In case you want to study our patterns, figure out how to advertise to us, we're right here. We are completely and totally surveilled all the time. People don't realize that, like, even if your phone is off, you were just taking a walk. Maybe you're like, you know what? I want to break. I want to break from everything. I'm going to take a quick break. I might even leave my phone at home and I'm just going to go for a walk. That's great. Detach for a second. The thing in your pocket is too much of your life, and too much access to you comes through that thing. Like, sometimes just for the sake of your mental well-being, it's important to take a break from it, right? And you assume when you take that break that the phone can't even snitch. Meanwhile, you're taking a break, walking through your neighborhood, getting caught on every Ring camera. Everybody got Ring camera. You getting caught from Ring camera to Ring camera to Ring camera to Ring camera to Ring camera. And even when they try to ping your phone, the phone like, he not here. Like, the phone loves snitching on you. The idea that, like, any crime goes unsolved is wild to me. The way we are surveilled now, I'm like, how'd you not catch them? I know where they are right now. It's crazy. So you go back a little bit. Go back to before it was so easy to keep track of everyone. Because even when people text you, they expect an answer from you. They have your number. They know it went to your phone. It said delivered on their end, right? And unless you fixed it on your phone snitched on you to them. It said read to them. It said read. It said he saw it. He just don't want to answer. It said it. It told you. It told you immediately, right? And so even when you text someone, we expect immediate answers. We expect a sort of immediacy from everyone. And if you're not getting it, then it must mean something, right? Let's go back to a simpler time. Go back to the 90s when, you could just move about the world. I'm surprised people in the 90s, like, I'm a 90s baby, but I was a baby. I was a child. I didn't have the chance to take the opportunities allowed. But how did everybody that was an adult in the 90s not serial kill? It seemed like it was right there. Anytime somebody older than me hates somebody else older than me, I'm like, you could have been dealt with that. That seemed like, all right, you don't want to solve a problem, that's on you. But like, I'm just saying, it's crazy to look back, even like CCTV footage from like 1990. It is indistinguishable from a game of Pong. Like, it's so unclear what is happening in the thing. I can't believe anyone ever went to jail off of the original CCTV footage. It's so hard to tell what is happening. I can't tell if that's somebody beating somebody up on a street corner or if that is the Sasquatch. It could be either one of them. Black and white, barely imaging, got pixels everywhere, just moving. And it's like, as you can see right here, no, I can't see that. I can't see that at all. Even when I watch old episodes of Law and Order, and then they play the footage, that's how you know it was bad. I'm watching on TV, them pretend to be lawyers on TV. And they're still like, as you can see right here, and even sitting at home, I'm like, there's no way anybody can see anything. Like, is this where I'm supposed to suspend my disbelief and be like, it's a TV show, I can see it. Like, go back to a simpler time, right? Go back to a time where if you wanted there to be footage of something, you had to go out of your way. Truly out of your way. You accidentally make footage now. People don't realize that, but like even some of the things that get people caught when they do a crime weren't even them being stupid. But some people are very dumb. Some people are incredibly dumb. And they're like, look at me doing a crime. That is happening. And that's happening a lot. We got to get the youngins to stop doing the crime in front of their phone and then posting it. Doing the crime at all is bad. We should start there. But also, doing the crime and recording it is insane. Doing the crime, recording it, and posting it yourself. We have got to, the snitch is in the house. Like the snitch is you. The snitch is in the mirror. There's no one got to tell on you anymore. You post it. Look at me doing the crime. At what time is it? Let me take a screenshot of myself. Hold it today's. Let me take a screenshot of myself holding up another phone with today's most viral TikTok so that everybody can know for certain that it was me and I did it and I'm proud of it. And then when I show up in court, I'll be like, who? No, truly, let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back to the 90s when you could just go for a walk, having, I don't know, killed somebody, and then... truly, I don't know how, up until recently, up until like the true sort of overwatching surveillance police state that we don't really sit aware that we live in. Like until then, I'm blown away that a cop ever solved a crime. That's true detective work. If you go back to the 90s and you're like, there's footprints. These footprints, let's check the footprints against the shoes that have been made in the last 10 years. Like, all that stuff is like real detective work. And when they caught someone, I think I would have been like, wow. How? This is crazy. Police now, they're just like, that looks like him in the video he made. I'm just saying, he said his whole name, so it might be him. You know, like him and this dude, they had beef, so then he beat him up on camera, recorded himself beating him up because he thought it would look cool, and then held up his own driver's license and then posted it to Instagram. It just seems like an open and shut case. Police work back in the day seemed like real work, I guess. Like, that's how'd you catch anybody? They weren't here for it. Then you got to track down the people. Then you got to get interviews out of the people. The people don't want to cooperate because they're more scared of this person than they are of you. And then you got to connect dots. You got to wait for DNA stuff to come. The DNA testing wasn't even like that good up until recently. There was like bad DNA testing. The early stuff, they were onto something, but it was bad. They'd send it off, and the test results would come back. It is blood. You haven't helped me at all. Whose blood is it? Somebody red, I think. Like, it's gotta be somebody red. Because the whole thing was red, so. And now you can enhance images. Even if you got a grainy image, you can zoom in and enhance it. And you can't necessarily enhance and upscale it the way that they did on TV. But a lot of science follows a lot of like entertainment. Like, it's funny how that does keep happening, where there will be an idea. You'll see it on TV. It doesn't really exist that way. But then it almost becomes the design for the thing that will exist one day because it fits into the imagination so well. They're like, oh yeah, why don't we just have facial recognition that cross-references all the other faces we have in the database, and then you just run it and it goes face. That's him. That's him. Wouldn't that be better? You know? But instead, you're talking about the 90s. You're talking about a time where you could just go for a nice long stroll, not be on camera anywhere potentially, depending on where you were. You know, you could make a call, you could make a phone call, and there would be a record with the cell phone company of who you called and when you called them. That type of thing was there. That level of like surveillance was in place, but they wouldn't necessarily know the whole content of the call. You know, not like now where people basically do phone calls for the world. You know, you see these voice memos that people leave, and I'm like, that's the most, you might as well have just told me and the company what you had to say. People will leave a voice memo, and some of them are very sweet. I always love getting a voice memo. I'm just saying, they've already got on your phone, we'll summarize everything. We'll summarize it for you. Actually, I learned to read a long time ago, so I don't need you to summarize anything for me. You'll see a text message. Text message will be from your mom, and it'll say, Mom expresses feelings of concern. But then you look at the company, and you're like, why y'all read my text message? Like, we're not reading it. No, we're not reading it. We're not reading it at all. I'm like, that was a pretty good guess, though. When I opened the phone, it was my mom being like, I'm concerned about you. Just let me see my message. It's crazy. They don't do that anymore. You used to get a text message, and then you would see like a little preview of it, and you could just read the preview, and based off the first half of the sentence, you could decide if it was something you were willing to reply to right now. You know? Because you can't just open it right away. It'll say read. But if you get a text message from someone and the first few sentences might pop up on your phone and it's like, where do you get off? You're like, all right, I'm gonna have to address that later. But now you get the text message and it's like, a full summary of what you were definitely about to read anyway. That's weird. It's like, how? How does anybody get away with anything now? Especially now that crime is dumber. How does anybody get away? It takes you back to those times in like the 90s. Maybe you go for a walk. Maybe you are just driving your car and you're truly like free in a way. There's nobody really looking for every little move that you make. And in the case of Diddy, somebody should have been. Somebody should have been watching, checking the entire time. You know, you see in this documentary the relationship between Biggie and Tupac, the relationship between East Coast and West Coast, and how so much of the actual troubles were like orchestrated. They were stoked by Diddy. Like Biggie liked Tupac. They were cool. And then Diddy was jealous of Pac. Diddy was jealous of Pac because Pac was everything he wanted to be. You know, he was charismatic. He was truly like a poet that could make you understand where he was coming from. You did not have any sort of similar life experiences to him at all, but he could express himself in a way that brought you in. No matter where you came from, there was real connection there. He could build and he could bring together real community, right? And so for that, he was loved. He was instantly accepted. He was praised. And if you're someone like Diddy, you see that and you're immediately jealous of it. It's everything you want to be. He's good looking, he's young, he's successful in a way that comes from his effortless talent and his hard work. He's everything that Diddy wanted to be, and that Diddy knows he isn't or wasn't. You know, Tupac was a rapper. Do you know what I mean? Like, Diddy, I know Diddy want to rap. Ooh, Diddy want to rap so bad. One of the most dastardly things this documentary has done in some of the editing is just showing Diddy dance for no reason. You can tell Diddy not talented from the way he dancing. I know it's a harsh statement to make, but Diddy dances. Diddy dances like Tom Cruise from Tropic Thunder. Like Diddy. And Tom Cruise was on rhythm. You know what I mean? Like Diddy was over here in the documentary. Like he was trying to land a plane. I was sitting there like, what am I watching? I'm just saying, you go back to that time, right? Go back to the time in the 90s when your phone was just a phone. Like the cell phone, it was only a phone. You could make a call and play Snake. Maybe Centipede if you were fancy, but like that's all it was. It had that stick that came out of it, the antenna that shot out of it that for some reason wasn't out all the time. Why would you not pull it out all the time? If you want to have a good call, why do you need to pull it out? Shouldn't it just come out every single time? And then you would drop it. You drop your phone and it was not a big deal. Look at people that drop their phone now. This is how you can tell we're all addicted to our phone. Watching someone drop their phone is like watching somebody drop crack down a drain. They're like, oh! They had never before seen footage of the moments leading up to both Biggie and Pac's death. Never before seen, and not never before seen as in these are the tapes we've been looking for the whole time. We didn't even know these angles existed. That's crazy. And that's very hard to do. Like you see tragedies happen now, and because of social and because of search, people can pull for all the different angles, all the different sides to anything that has happened since everyone started carrying a cell phone, right? But this thing is crazy. You see them walking. You see Tupac walking all the way up until a fight that he got in, and then later, you see through footage things that people have not seen before leading up to his death. Same thing with Biggie. There was this moment in the documentary where there's somebody sitting in their own car, right, with a camcorder, which is weird. I know we're going in the Wayback Machine, but even in the 90s, nobody sat in their car with a camcorder. That's a new thing. Recording yourself in your car is a new thing. It's a relatively new thing to humanity. We weren't doing this before maybe TikTok. Like, we weren't doing it that much, and now people record themselves in their car so much. Why did we start crying in the car? Look, I know it's already like a social phenomenon and everything, but we will need to stop. Like, that's people recording themselves crying in the car. Because the first video I saw somebody crying in the car, I don't remember what they were crying about, but they were talking about something. And it was something big. It was something happening in the world. But they were like, And I saw them in the car. And they were talking, they were like, it's so unfair, it's life, you know, it just comes at you, it's horrible, what are you supposed to do? And I remember sitting there like, okay, all right, they're making some valid points, I understand why they're upset, but who recording them right now? This is terrible. Why would somebody record them and then put it online? And then, because it was just, I was scrolling when I saw it. So then when I clicked on the profile, I saw it was their profile. I was like, oh, somebody done hacked them and posted a video of them crying. That's terrible. This is a true demon that got a hold of their footage and then posted to their page of them crying. That's so embarrassing. Oh, I hope they find justice, right? I was so interested, genuinely. I was so perplexed at what was happening, because then the other people commenting weren't addressing the fact that this person crying is their like, no, I seem to be the only one confused about what was happening. Everybody else in the comments was like, keep your head up, you know, like all this. And so, look, I was curious about how this was going to develop, because I've been, you know, witness to many of my friends that have been like hacked, especially when Facebook was like young, and then somebody would get on your Facebook, they type out a bunch of things on your timeline, just like dumb stuff, and then, you know, you would get them locked out, you get back on and everything. So I've seen this before, but I don't know, I was so invested in how this person was gonna come back from this that I did follow them, right? I hit follow just to be, because I'm expecting any day now they're gonna be like, hey, somebody, you know, broke into my account and posted me at my weakest moment. Thank y'all for the support, and so I followed. And then a couple days later, I saw another video. I saw the handle, and I saw a profile picture, so I saw that it was them again. And I'm sitting here scrolling up, and they're in their car again. And then I'm thinking, oh, okay, this is where they're going to say, like, hey, somebody broke into my account. Thank y'all for the well wishes and everything, but I'm good. I don't want y'all to see me in that light. That was a very weak point for me. And so when I scrolled up, I'm fully expecting them to say the thing I just said, but then they started talking. They were like, yeah, I just wanted to reach out to everybody. Thank y'all so much. You know, the comments you left and the messages I got really touched me and everything. And just, and I was like, no, wait. There's no way, though. No. And then I put it together. I was like, wait, they were recording themselves crying in their car. That's the most private time to cry. We need to go back, just for the sake, once again, of our mental health as a nation. We got to go back to just having a crash out parked in the car and let that be history. Like that. You are not your best when you cried in your car. I would throw it out there that maybe you don't want people hearing what you have to say when you're to the point where you break it down parked in your car somewhere. Stop broadcasting it. This is bad. This is very bad, because it's not. I've never seen a cry in my car video and been like, oh, yeah, that'll change things. I'm just saying, like, if you in the car, right? If you're in the car and you are upset, it's understandable. This life is hard, and sometimes people feel like they got to walk it all by themselves. They don't know the support they have. They don't know the people that they have in their life. And in those moments, there's an opportunity. You could use that time to reach out to someone and tell them that you need help. You could reach out to someone, and even if, I'll even pitch this, if you're very bad at asking for help, right? Try to help someone else. Because the same bond that leads you to help someone else will then have them looking out for you whenever things are down for you, right? You have this thing in your phone. You have this thing. It's incredibly powerful, right? It tells everybody where you are. Government, friends, everybody. Everybody know where you are. Everybody knows where you are. Everybody knows. People you don't know where you are. People you've never met know where you are. Right now, they know you're here. Like, people know where you are because it's in your phone, but you also know where other people are. You can reach out to people. You need help. This could be a way that you get the help that you need. It could be. Or you could buy one of those little dashboard stands. You know, it's got that little knuckle on it that you put the thing on from the back of your phone, and you... Or you could do that. You could do that. That's an option. It's possible you could give that a shot as well. Because I do think, here's the thing I'll throw out there. I do think that crying in the phone, like crying in the car on the phone, I think that genuinely came from a fundamental epidemic of loneliness. Do you know what I mean? Like that thing is not something that's born out of having a wealth of people to talk to. You know, it comes from being in a place where, sure, everyone will like shirk it off. They're just looking for attention, whatever. But I think it goes deeper than that. And I think it's people like literally, genuinely crying out for someone to hear what they have to say, for someone to have their back, for someone to get them, right? And so they reach out to the whole of the internet, and then what they get back in return, sometimes it's a bunch of hate, sometimes it's a bunch of love, whatever it is. Sometimes it's just people, keep your head up, whatever. But I don't think it's a substitute for like genuine human connection, like having that person to sit in your car with you, to look at and go, like that, like, that's much better. That's just between the two of you. And instead of becoming your worst moment online, it becomes like an intimate moment you have with a friend who has your back, who you can cry to, right? I said all that to say somebody in the 90s was sitting in their car with a camcorder, like a camcorder, do you remember what this was? It was this metal with lenses in it. And buttons, way too many buttons. They had more buttons than what the camcorder could do. The camcorder is over here promising all that good stuff, and then you hit the button and it look exactly the same. Nothing has changed at all. Sitting there with the camcorder. Because the camcorder had that strap. It had that strap right on the back, so that way, you could do some real journalism, some true video journalism. You know what I mean? Some people had the camera and they had to hold the big thing and they got to put their eye into the little pocket. Not with the camcorder. Camcorder even had a little screen popped out. And so you just had it ready. Bow! I see everything. Where were these cameras even from? It's crazy. Where is the camera from? Because there's a thing that had never been aired before, where someone is in their car and they're like, "Is that Biggie?" And then you hear pop, 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 pop. Oh my God, they just got shot. Somebody called somebody. And then you hear like someone who's like in the car calling 911, but you see from their perspective, first of all, who are they? Where have they been this entire time? That's crazy. Where did they? Maybe there is a chance that in all of this investigative, in the long time, apparently like a decade, that 50 Cent's been working on this documentary, that somebody somewhere was able to pay somebody for something that they had never given anybody before. And there's also different reasons why you might hold on to something. Imagine you're there when something like this happens. You may not want to broadcast it to the world that you were right there and that you saw something on tape, because they didn't see a person, they just saw that these shots were happening, right? And so maybe you don't want to broadcast it because now you don't want to go to the police in a thing where they seem to have no leads and be like, "Oh, I have some extra information for you." Maybe, I don't know. It's plausible, but it seems just so wild that these two moments would meet up. That somebody would just be recording in their car with what had to be like a camcorder. Who just walked around with a camcorder in the 90s like that wasn't shooting their own document? Like, just in the car with the camcorder all the time in case something happens. Fast forward to present and it ends up in this Netflix documentary about Diddy. Maybe that's what happened. But what seems just as likely is that 50 Cent time traveled back in time. With the camcorder, right? Because you don't want the resolution to be too clear. People start asking questions. Time travel back in time, sat in the car and point the camcorder in the direction. Oh, is that Biggie? Pop, 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 pop. Oh no, someone shot Biggie. I'm gonna go back to the future. And there's so many, it's a documentary so full of detail, you almost have to rewatch it, because then there are things that go over your head the first time where you don't even realize how evil the thing that Diddy was, because so much information is flying at you. It's like information, here's a tidbit, here's an interview, first-hand account, somebody was there, baby oil. Here's another tidbit, here's a first-hand account, here's what someone had to say, here's something that we didn't even know Diddy did, baby oil. There's so many instances of them cutting to baby oil that sometimes some of the evil gets a little lost. You know, the idea that this man might have had so much to do with Biggie's death and then went on a campaign like he was Biggie's best friend in the entire world. It's not just insane that people let him get away with it. What's even worse is that he threw this memorable event, right? All throughout Bed-Stuy, Biggie's funeral, right? And then no one knew, I didn't know until I saw the documentary, that he made Biggie's estate pay for that funeral. Yeah, like that's, and if you get too distracted by the baby oil, you might miss that detail. You know, and it's a scary thing that what gets revealed in this documentary isn't just how bad Diddy was. It's also how bad so many of us want money, fame, something he could dangle over people that really let a lot of this abuse keep going, that really kept a lot of his secrets, that really kept people doing whatever it would take to be in the loop. You know, people can only have a real power over you when they have something that you want. Once you decide that you don't want it that bad or that you're going to get it for yourself, they have nothing over you. You know, and there were people who tried to do that. And so then Diddy would, you know, come at them with violence. At least if I can make you fearful, if I can't make you want anything, if I can make you fearful, I can keep you in line. You know, there's just so many people that have ended up dead. That's kind of like through the documentary sort of laid at Diddy's feet. Like either he's out here having people killed and doing all this stuff, or he's one of the unluckiest people to be around. Like that's... Either way, I would never want a track record like that. I would never want people to be like, oh yeah, I met Josh Johnson a week ago and now I'm real sick. One of the things that's so harrowing about the documentary to me is that you see how long Diddy got away with things that people are saying plainly that he just did. They're saying, no, this thing just happened, and then everyone was acting like it was normal, and everybody was acting like it was normal because apparently it was normal. It was normal for him to do all these things, whether he was beating up somebody, he was abusing somebody, he was stealing from somebody. All these things were like incredibly normal, and it's genuinely terrifying that something like that was able to become normal for a person. But it was able to become normal because there are in instances, it's a hard judgment to pass, but there are certain instances where you see a shade of someone who is big and bad and powerful and using all that power for evil, and you see a shade of that in even some of the people around them that they might be mistreating. There were plenty of people that were like cool with all this mistreatment until it came around to them. Or they were cool with everything that Diddy was doing. As bad as it was, they could look the other way, they just wouldn't acknowledge it, but then they got fired. You know? And there is no Diddy without a bunch of little Diddies running around wanting to be like him, wanting to emulate that sort of thing, wanting to have power just so that they had choice what to do with it. Because one of the things that people with power like to do is they love to rob you of your choices. You know, there's always a choice to a degree. It may not be a choice that you like, but they love to rob the sort of feeling of freedom you have over your choices. You can make very hard choices. Someone could walk up to you and say, give me all your money or I'm going to kill you. And you could say, kill me. You could. It is a choice. Some people would say that's no choice. It is. It is a choice. They said, give me all your money, or implies a different outcome. Right? Do this or this. That's your choice. It's not a good choice. Don't get me wrong. It's not something that I envy. It's not even something that I'm saying it's easy to walk away from. It's easy. It's scary. It's scary when someone with power wants something from you or they want to take something from you and you don't know how you're going to survive, right? But they don't get away with this thing. It takes time to become the person that Diddy was. It takes decades. It took him decades. It took everyone looking the other way for little things, then big things for so long that finally he does seem like this unstoppable, unbeatable force. He does beat people down in court. He does beat people down in person, right? But these people can't get to where they are without us. They can't get to where they are without us looking the other way, without us slightly condoning, not quite condemning. They can't get that way without us. These people just don't come out of the woodwork. He started as this kid who didn't even drink, who didn't do drugs, but he had an idea in his head of what a man was and what a powerful man was, and he wanted to be those things at any cost. And so he took it upon himself to start himself down that road. Fast forward 20, 25 years later, this is the type of person who thinks he can beat people in front of cameras. You know? And what does it take to take down a person like that? Because they seem so powerful. They have so much money. Diddy valued at billions, right? What can you do to a billionaire? How do you take a person like that down? One piece at a time. All of us. It takes all of us not looking away. It takes all of us doing something. You know, because people have said in the documentary, people have said in interviews that when Diddy is like in his element, he's untouchable. You would think he was a god. But when you're alone in the room with him, you see, not only is this just a man, this is like still that like kind of scared kid, kind of insecure kid, right? That in no way condones anything that he's ever done. That in no way is like an excuse. I'm just saying that's like the truth. The armor is a facade, you know? One of the craziest things that has happened since the documentary came out is that Ja Rule came out against 50 Cent and called him a snitch for making the documentary, which is not a popular side to take. That is weird. It's a weird thing to say when no one was talking to you at all. That's not a smart career or business move. You saw someone who still hates you produce a documentary for Netflix about someone else they hated that is 4 episodes long. You saw that and you thought to yourself, I'll get involved. Are you out of your mind? I was blown away. Called him a snitch and everything. Ja Rule, by the way, I looked up Ja Rule just to see what was up. Just, you know, I wonder what Ja Rule had been up to, because it wasn't rapping, right? And most recently, the last time Ja Rule made headlines was because he got punched at a Brandy and Monica concert on their The Boy Is Mine tour. Where you get punched says a lot about where you are in life. Do you know what I mean? If you're a rapper and you get into a fight at a rap concert, that seems par for the course. If you are a rapper and you get punched backstage at an R&B concert, you must have had it coming. These people are singing melodies. I'm not a fighter, but one of the worst things to do is to get beat up to soft music. Imagine now. Imagine I went to a gospel concert and got slapped. It'd be like, well, he must have had it coming because they're here to worship. This is crazy. You got punched. And then he posted a video of himself, you know, smiling at the camera, showing he didn't have like a mark on him or anything, which would be badass, except you got punched in the back of the head. Like, your face should be fine. If you have damage on your face for being punched in the back of your head, I'm very sorry to report you are dead, sir. That's what happens when you die. if you get hit in the back of the head and it affects the front. Imagine you get punched to Brandy's music. I've talked about it before. You know, I've had fights. You know, I'm not acting like I've won all of them or anything. But imagine if I got whooped to Taylor Swift. You wouldn't be able to respect me. Even when I hear that "you belong with me, son," I flinch. Like, that would change your whole life, getting beat up to Taylor Swift. Or like Maggie Rogers. Like you get beat up to some indie music. Would destroy your reputation. I don't even know why would Josh say anything? The last notable thing you did was Fire Festival. Like you didn't go to jail, but Billy did. But you were his partner. You were in all the pictures with him. That's crazy. The only thing scarier than the documentary is that Diddy's gonna get out. I'm terrified. I've been talking reckless. I really thought he was gonna go down. I was positive. I was positive. I was so sure justice was gonna prevail. You know what I mean? This is crazy. This is crazy. This is so insane. The American justice system had one job, right? One job. Finally, a black dude did everything. And somehow this is the one that slips through the cracks. That's crazy. Do you know what I mean? Do you know how many people I know have been arrested or gone to jail for something slight? They barely had it. But then a jury was like, maybe they did it. Let's send them away. Diddy and OJ are the two people that I've seen where I'm like, guys, what? What? This is crazy. You watch this. It's insane. You watch this documentary and you're like, wow, this dude is a true demon. Like, in every sense of the word. Like, he's so evil. It's horrible. It's horrible, the things that he did to people. There's never any excuse for it. No matter what your childhood was, no matter how much you're lacking in love, no matter what trauma you've been through. There are people who have always had it worse than other people that don't go about doing like evil business. And because I believe in like forces in a way. I do believe that there are some people that are so pulled to like the worst of their nature that they'll do whatever it takes to feed an ego, to keep a side of themselves quiet that makes them question the things that they're doing, you know? But I also truly believe in balance. I believe in balance. And I don't think that like any man is like truly a saint. All of us have our issues. All of us have our problems, and we have our things that keep us human. We have our mistakes. We have everything that drags a person down, right? So I would never try to put a person on a pedestal or make them some sort of living saint, because I don't know what their inner thoughts are. I don't actually know their heart. I don't know if the good that they do is to be seen doing good, or if it's to actually put more good in the world. I can't tell you. I have no idea. But because I grew up in a religious home with a grandma that really believed in Jesus. You know, I've seen that picture of Saint Michael stepping on Satan's neck. And I don't know, it just kind of feels like that's what 50 Cent is doing to Diddy. You know what I mean? Like, got the sword and everything.